Hello everyone, my name is Edward Pabi. You are welcome. And in this video, I'll be going to explain the JavaScript code I added to my to-do list web application that I created to make it interactive. So, on my right hand side, you could see my to-do list web application, and I used HTML and CSS to produce the front end of it. But what you can see is that there is no interactivity. So which means that nothing happens when we click buttons or type anything. So when we type anything like what needs to be done, maybe cooking, you realize that when we click a button, nothing really happens. There is no interactivity. That is where JavaScript comes in. So before I added the JavaScript, the website could only display content. But JavaScript is what makes the website respond to user actions like clicking buttons, typing, and also interacting with elements on the page. So I'm going to explain everything step by step in very simple terms. I'm going to explain the codes that I used in the JavaScript to make my to-do list web application interactive. Now that we've seen how our web application behaves without the use of the JavaScript, so I'm going to add the JavaScript to the web application to see how the web application is going to respond to users' actions with the use of the JavaScript. So I have my JavaScript here. So let's load the page. Okay, so here what we are going to do is that, or the goal of this JavaScript code is that it is supposed to allow a user to type a task. So we are going to type any task here. So for example, a task like maybe cooking. Then the second thing is that it's supposed to allow a user to click on the button to add the task. So we click on the button to add the task, and JavaScript has actually allowed us to do that. Then thirdly, it's also supposed to click a task to mark it as completed. So when we click on the task, it's supposed to mark it as completed. Then it's also supposed to allow a user to delete the task. So if you want to delete the task cooking, we should be able to do that. And also to see live activities update automatically. So these are the live activities I'm talking about. The total number of tasks and the total number of tasks completed. So for example, if I if I add a lot of tasks like cooking, I add washing, we add the tasks, I add typing, then we add the tasks. So you could realize that JavaScript actually allows us to see the live statistics update automatically. So the total number of tasks that I have added is 3. So when I click them and they mark as completed, you could realize that the statistics is going to update automatically. So I have 3 tasks here, but only one is completed. So when I click on typing, it is going to also update the statistics as 2 tasks completed. So all of this behavior that we saw, the interactivity, the the clicking of the button. All of these things are controlled using JavaScript. So now I'm going to head over and explain my JavaScript code. So these are my JavaScript code for my to-do list web application. And first of all, I selected the HTML element with the help of the document.getElement by ID. So this HTML element that I selected were the input, elements, the button elements, the total tasks and completed task elements, and the to-do list elements. So this actually allows JavaScript to access and control those elements on my to-do list page. So first of all, I selected the input field. So my input field, which is where the user is going to type the task, which is this side. I also selected the button, the add button, which um, allows the JavaScript to detect when a button is clicked. I also selected so that is this button I'm talking about. I also selected my to-do list. Yes, the to-do list. That is where the task will be displayed. So this side, this is where the task is going to be displayed. And also I selected the element that will show the number of tasks completed and the number of the current task or the previous task. So that is this side where we can find on our my to-do list the total 3 and the completed 2. And JavaScript will update them automatically without the user reloading or refreshing the page. So next I created a function that updates the statistics. So the function that I created is supposed to update the statistics. So each time a user add a task, if it is 5 number of tags the user has added, you're supposed to update it. If the user clicks on the tags and it's completed, it marks as completed, it's supposed to um update that statistics too. So in our function here, with the help of the document dot query selector or, which allows the JavaScript to look for the elements in each class, both the one with the task and the ones with the completed task. So it then counts after looking for the elements, it then counts all the elements in the classes and it displays the statistics here. So I went ahead to add an event listener to our add tags button here. So this means that when a user actually clicks on the add tags button here, a function is supposed to run. And inside this function, JavaScript is supposed to read the imputed text or the tags that has been typed by the user. So in the case whereby a user actually types in a tags here, what JavaScript is supposed to do using the document.create element is supposed to create a new list item and also expand element that is going to hold the tax text and also display the the text that the user has typed. So in cases whereby some users can make mistakes and forget to not type anything in the text box. So JavaScript is supposed to show or display an alert message, yes, telling the user to what? To please enter a task and stops. So let's try it. So in case maybe I forget to put a text here and I click on add task, this text here is supposed to allow the JavaScript to display a text message to the user like this that we have here, to enter a task. If the user does not enter a task and hit the add task button. So again, I went ahead to add an event listener to the span element that holds the task text and also displays the text that the user types in such a way that anytime a user actually clicks on the tags in the span element, it is supposed to be marked as completed. That means JavaScript is supposed to toggle the class as completed, and with the update stat, it's supposed to update the statistics automatically without refreshing the page. So for instance, when we come to our my to-do list and I click on what already is completed too. So this function is going to help us like this. So when we click on washing, JavaScript is supposed to toggle the class as completed. Okay, that's why it has been cancelled, and update the statistics. So it updated the statistics from 2 to 3. Then I also went ahead to create a delete button using the document.create element, and I added an event listener to the delete button, and with the use of the remove child, anytime a user actually clicks on the delete button in the span area or in the span element or here, what it's supposed to do is that it's supposed to remove the tags from that field, and the JavaScript is supposed to update the statistics or the current statistics. So now that the interactivity has been completed, I'm going to put everything together using the append child and display the tags on my web page. So you could see on my web page that it has already been displayed. I've put everything together because without these ones, nothing will appear on the web page like this. The tags will not appear on the web page. And the last codes that I've written, actually the to do input dot value, actually I'll say reset or clears the input input value or the input fields, and the update stat actually updates the statistics. What I want you to know is that this is the approach that allows applications to feel responsive and interactive without refreshing the page. All the interactivity in this project that we did was achieved using some basic JavaScript concepts such as variables, functions, conditional statements, and event listeners. And you can do more by researching on this concept to broaden your understanding on it. Thank you once again for watching.